All right, welcome to Tuesday Notary Titans for Tuesday, November 2nd, 2021. My name is Bill Soroka. I am the author of Sign and Thrive, How to Make Six Figures as a Mobile Notary Loan Signing Agent, and I'm the host of the Side Hustle Lounge podcast, where we talk about legitimate income opportunities, the mindset it takes to succeed at them, and then how we celebrate success, usually with relationships and adventure. I'm excited to be here today. TNT, or Tuesday Notary Titans, is one of my favorite times all week long, and I'm going to keep you muted here. If you would please just keep yourself on mute until we call on you to answer a question. Normally my co-host for Tuesday Notary Titans is Laura Buer. You all know her from CoachMeLaura.com. She is not available today, so I asked two of my friends and amazing colleagues from the industry to join me today, and that's going to be Matt Miller from the California League of Independent Notaries. Matt Miller, thank you so much for joining us. Matt, you want to unmute and tell everybody who you are?
Thanks, Bill. Matt from the California League of Independent Notaries here. Happy to be here today, although I will miss Laura. Bill used to start these out with what we're thankful for, and so when I was asked to co-host today, I've been thinking about that ever since. And I think what I'm most thankful for is to be part of such a wonderful community with colleagues that you can depend on and that lift you up and help you out, and we all look out for each other. So I'm really happy for our notary community. Back to you, Bill.
I ditto, Matt. I'm grateful for this supportive and loving community every single day. Glad you could be here. And then, of course, we have Judy Lawrence as well. So Matt's in California, Judy's in Pennsylvania. Many of you know Judy Lawrence from the Lawrence Institute for Notaries and the Queen of Apostilles. Judy, thank you so much for being here. You want to tell everybody a little bit about you?
Sure. Matt said it perfectly, as he always does. It's the greatest community in the world. And I personally am extremely grateful to be a part of it, and grateful that, you asked me to do this with you today. So here I am, and let's get started.
Yeah, let's jump in and do this. So guys, Tuesday Notary Titans, like an old-fashioned call-in radio show, except we're live, we're on Zoom. This is a time where you can have your questions answered by notary professionals and experts from now around the country, right? So the easiest way to make this work in a nice organized fashion is to use the raise hand feature of Zoom. And then when I call on you, please tell us what state you're in. That's extremely important. And then also get straight to your question. Ask away. If we need some backup information, we'll definitely ask you for that. We can dig in a little deeper if we need to, but we're going to try to get to as many questions as possible. And guys, my lips, I'm going through that treatment for my actinic keratosis, that pre-cancer stuff. It is really messing up how I talk. So I'm catching my tongue up, my lips are dangling everywhere. So it's kind of weird. So if I jam up, just know that's what's going on. I'm not drunk yet. It's just my medication here. All right, we're going to jump in, but first, there's a reason that I asked Matt and Judy to join me this week as co-hosts for TNT, because this is a huge and exciting week for them too. Matt, well, I'll just say it first, and then I'll have Matt and Judy talk about it just a couple minutes. Guys, they are releasing a new book that's going to come out on Notary Public Day. That's this coming Sunday, November 7th. And I have had the privilege of reading the book in advance, and it is packed full of value and like real practical steps to becoming an apostille agent. It's really phenomenal. And I just want to say congratulations to Matt and Judy. Guys, if you want to be first on the list to get heads up on that, just visit notarycoach.com/jam. And I'll post that into the chat as Matt talks about that. Matt, tell us a little bit about your book and the launch coming up.
Thanks, Bill. Yeah, it has been a wonderful journey. I can't believe we're finally here. But this book, you could buy this book and become an apostille agent, or buy this book and use it as what we refer to it as a handbook. It's kind of like something you'll keep around and refer back to it on your journey as an apostille agent, because no one job is the same, and you'll have questions, and this book is there to be your partner. We also have set up a special resources page for those who buy the book. So that way we are going to support you now and into the future with more what we call jam sessions, Judy and Matt sessions, question and answers about this, but specifically for the apostille business, lists to order forms, lists to the Secretary of State's, lists to consulants, and other bonus material as well. So I look forward to everyone checking this out. We're going to have a little launch party this coming Sunday, which if you can't attend in person, we will be streaming it at 3 o'clock Pacific time. Hope that you can join. We will be raffling things off for both people there and online. But looking forward to hearing your feedback and to answering your questions.
Thank you so much, Matt. I'm so excited for you. And Judy, I have one question for you. I know this is exciting for you too, but
It is.
You have incorporated apostille or apostille or apostle work into your life and your business, and it's really defined who you are. It's changed your business. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it did. It crept up on me, but it did change my life. It did change my business. It is a different kind of transaction than a general notary. And and you'll hear all about this, but it's an unrestricted fee business. So there are certain parts of it where you can set your own fees, and you'll hear all about it. The book is not because I wrote it. I just think the book is fantastic. Matt and I, it was a real labor of love. We worked very hard at it. Bill, I think, said we were 2,873 miles away from each other. And we did a lot of it on Zoom, although Matt came here to Philadelphia in September. So I'm excited that you're all going to get to use it. It will complement the course very nicely. It will be a handbook, and it will complement training very nicely, because you'll be able to say, what did she say? Or what did, and you'll have the book beside you to help you. And, that's always a great thing. So we're excited. I am heading to California on Friday. I am going to participate in the symposium right in Modesto, California. And then Laura and Bill and lots of others. I saw Lori's coming. Star is coming. We're all going to have a great time, and we want to share it with you. So don't forget. Bill, could you post Friends of Apostilles and Notaries? Friends of Apostilles and Notaries is my Facebook group, and the link will be in there for streaming. So
Perfect.
Make sure, if you haven't already joined that group, and I know many of you have, if you haven't, please join so that you'll have the link and you'll be able to catch us in California.
All right, I love it, Judy, and I'm looking forward to finally meeting you in person as well. Guys, this book is important because right now we should all be thinking about ways we can expand our services and our value that we bring to the marketplace. I used to think that fingerprinting and wedding officiant and even Legal Shield and so many other things fit so nicely under our notary umbrella. And then I took Judy's masterclass on apostille work, and this is such a natural fit. It's amazing to me that we don't just automatically include this as part of our duties in this. It's such a natural fit. So keep your eye out. Coming up on Sunday for the Apostille Agent's Survival Guide, the not so secret handbook to international document services. Very excited about that. Okay, so now all three of us are going to be fielding your questions. So when you come on, as you ask your question, I might throw it at Judy, I might throw it at Matt, I might take it on myself. Let's jump in now. Gia, Kenyatta, thank you so much for being here. You want to unmute, tell everybody what state you're in and how we can help.
Happy Tuesday. Thank you for being here, everybody. I'm in California, and I'll just jump into my question.
Yes.
I am completing my bank serve application. I'm on phase 2 and they're asking for a business references form. I don't know what that is and how I get one.
Interesting question. Matt, are you familiar with bank serve at all?
I am. I went through the process. It's been some years now, but I think what they're looking for are other signing services and title companies that you may be currently working with.
Beautiful. And then anytime I see the word reference, if I don't have any experience in the field that I'm in, then I look for other people who know my professional capabilities, and I include those as well. Now, Matt, in your experience, was there a particular form they were looking for, or were they just looking for a list of references?
I think it was a list of references, if I remember correctly. It might be on a separate sheet, but I believe it's a list of references of people you're working with that will suffice. And then I think they will also ask you to do a video interview and answer some other questions as well. But they're a fantastic company to work with. I've worked with them for years. I worked with them a whole bunch in the beginning when I was first diving into loan signing. So I recommend you pursue the process.
Thank you for that. Do you think if I gave them a list of like 7 companies, that would suffice?
Definitely. And I think the standard would be 3.
3. Okay, perfect. Thank you for answering the questions.
You got it. Thanks for being here. All right, Rosetta Easley, thank you for being here. You want to unmute, tell everybody what state you're in and how we can help.
Hello, everyone. I am from Wilmington, Delaware, and I have a question about a loan modification. Basically, I have a full-time job and I work at one of the local emergency rooms here. And for my co-workers, my doctors and nurses, they all know I'm a notary. So because we work night shift, 8 p.m. to 8 a.m., a lot of them bring their paperwork in, you know, and I notarize it. The standard fee here in Delaware is just $5. So they love that part of it. It's $5. Sometimes, you know, just for out of gratitude, I get more than that. But I had one coworker come in the other night with a loan modification documents. And obviously that is something that would be more than $5. So, but he lives in Pennsylvania. So, and I've never done a loan modification document before. And I wasn't sure if that is something that I should be able to. I know that I could do it as a notary, even though his primary residence is in Pennsylvania. But I just I didn't feel right about doing it, especially just for the $5. I didn't know where to go with that. So yes. I didn't know if he was just because he made it. And I think it's because he made the statement to me of that he's done this before, but they've always come. He said the person would come to, he didn't say notary. He just said the person would come to his house with the paperwork and they just charge so much money. So he said, I just asked them, give me the paperwork and I'll get someone to do it. So I just felt like he knew that I'm a notary and I'm doing it for coworkers. He felt he can come and get it done for $5 and that's it. So okay. Am I reading too much into it or what?
Well, who knows what the motivation is, right? But you nailed it. I mean, that's exactly what's happening. He probably gets charged $150 to $250 for a mobile notary to come to his house, and he decided that he would just get it done on his own. So the important thing to note here is that there's a difference in your roles, right? If you're going to work and sign, date, and stamp as a notary public, maybe one single document outside of the real estate industry, then you're limited by your state fees. But when you're working with real estate documents and you're performing duties of a loan signing agent, meaning that you're going to take this on, right? Like, do it right. Like, here's the expectations. Here's what this is. You can tell them, like, this is what this is. It's a loan modification. I have additional responsibilities for this. I need to present and briefly describe the documents. I need to make sure that things get signed, dated, and initialed correctly. In order to do that, the fee for a transaction like this is actually $100 or $150. Or on a loan mod, you know, sometimes those are 13 documents. So maybe you'll say 50 to 75. Whatever you are comfortable with, that's how you would present that. And see how he feels about it. That's probably still less than he would pay to have somebody come to him. And you have to take that into consideration too, right? It's very convenient. You did not print. You don't have to go anywhere. He is bringing it to you. So what is your time worth right there? But then actually perform those duties, like go through the loan modification, even though you've never done one before. It's just like doing your first signing, right? Except that he probably knows more about this than you do. So you can just say, okay, here's the updated terms of agreement, da 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 da, sign date, do your thing, and then that's it.
Okay, all right. I
Can
think
I add-
Judy has something to add too. Judy, what's
I just
up?
wanted
Yeah.
to add one thing. Normally, when they bring those in here, there are 2 copies of everything. There are 2 copies of the loan modification document, and then there's like 3 other papers that have to be notarized. But there's 2 copies of everything. Always ask them. The second copy is for them. Some of the people want both copies notarized, and some of the people say, I'll just take it. You don't have to notarize it. I'm just going to keep it. But that's what the packages regularly look like for me. And I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah,
Yeah, Judy,
and he did have 2 copies and he was wanting me to notarize them both.
Right.
Like both copies. So that would be good to go ahead and do that as well. Just charge him accordingly.
I always charge $50 for that package.
Okay.
Mhm.
There you go. Because
Okay.
it's outside the realm of a standard notarization, right?
Okay.
You're in the loan signing realm, so you charge loan signing fees.
All right. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Rosetta. Thank you so much.
All right.
Great
bye-bye.
question. Let's see. Soraya Davis from California. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure can.
So this morning I had a signing for a property in Florida. And in the instructions, it says, if you are a California notary and must attach an all-purpose acknowledgement, please write, and this is in quotes, this instrument was acknowledged before me by means of physical presence, end quote, somewhere on your all-purpose acknowledgement. Now, Matt, I found a nice way to say no because I've never heard of us being allowed to write on the California certificates. Are we allowed to do that?
Great. Matt, what do you think?
So, yeah, you shouldn't alter your California certificate language, but I do transactions for Florida regularly, and we can use their acknowledgement. What they're getting at is they want to know the difference between, was it an in-person tangible notarization or was it an online remote notarization? So I just use their wording. Obviously, we can't when it's a jurat, but I would go that route.
Okay. And just one more thing about Florida. This has to do with one of their certificates. It says, before me on this day personally appeared John Doe, known to me or proved to me on the oath of blank or through blank to be the person whose name is subscribed to the foregoing instrument and acknowledged to me that he, she executed the same for the purposes and consideration therein expressed. That's an acknowledgement, right? Because I see oath. I'm trying to figure out how to read this correctly. Is the oath like a witness in the Florida certificate?
I'm bringing this up.
Oh, you guys, okay,
yeah.
That was it.
They're giving you a choice. So they're giving you a choice of, you could confirm identity based on the oath of 2 credible witnesses, like we do here in California, or you can write in how you ID'd him. So I just say state driver license or US passport or whatever identity credential you're using, you write that in there. So then that part about the oath kind of becomes moot. It's void of the transaction.
Okay, I'll know.
But yes, it's an acknowledgement.
Okay, I attached a California phone, but I'll know for next time. Thank you.
All right.
You can always do that.
All right, that's good to know.
All right.
Thank you.
Cami Corbin, thank you for being here. You want to unmute, tell everybody what state you're in and how we can help today.
Hi there, guys. Cami Corbin, Santa Cruz, California. Hope everybody's doing really great today. So I have a couple of questions, but I wanted to do a win-win. I had my biggest month last month. Thank you, Bill and everybody for like direction and things like that. So I just hope I continue. I kind of think that maybe it might be slowing down a little bit. I don't know. It's the first of the month, and I think after the end of the month, it's always that way. And I get a little anxious, going, "Oh, am I still doing good? Am I still going to be okay?" But I think we're doing all right. But anyway, I have had a couple of folks who have wanted to use me, mostly realtors, and some of them use Stewart Title. Now, I have not yet got on. Stewart Title has their own little list, I guess, and I have not got on that list yet, even though I've sent an email a couple of times. How best to go about this so that when these people call Stewart, you know what I mean, and they say, hey, we want to use Cami, and I'm not on their list, how best to handle that?
Great question. I love this question. I'm going to answer it, and then I'll bounce it over to Matt and Judy and see what they suggest too. But
okay,
when I have some real estate agents that love to use my services. In fact, some of them will not allow any other services or any other mobile notary to close their transactions. So the way to make that happen is through a personal introduction. So the most effective way is to, once you have these relationships with real estate agents and you agree to use, say, great, I'm down for this. We can absolutely make this happen. I'll be part of your white glove solution to taking care of your customers.
okay.
And I just need an introduction to your favorite escrow officers so we can get the ball rolling and I can start filling out the paperwork.
Awesome.
But it's got to be an introduction. If they say, oh, just email her and tell her I sent you, that's not going to work.
Okay.
It needs to look like they really want to work with you. And it's like, hey, Joan, this is Cami. She's awesome. I want her to be part of my signing agent team. I want her to get first right of refusal or first dibs on my signings, however that's going to look. And then it's like, please get her in the system and dialed in. Let us know what we need to do that way. That's the most effective way.
Okay, that's
Matt,
good.
do you have any suggestions differently on this? Do you have a way that this works for you?
Yeah, so I don't have this problem much anymore. I used to when I wasn't, in all of the title company lists. And so what I would do in a pinch is I would say, okay, well, I may not be on the title company's list, but I am on this signing services list, which is on the title company's list. So you just tell your realtor or whoever's sending you the work, the title company, to go through this signing service. That way you can get the job that first time. And then after that, of course, you want to follow up and, like Bill said, build some relationships so you can avoid that situation going forward.
Okay, great. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that info. And so then my next thing is I want to kind of clarify this. I just got through recertifying for the year a little early, but I wanted to make sure I had everything done. And it dawned on me there was a couple of questions in the test that I thought maybe were applicable to me, and I needed to kind of figure out. There's an attorney that works for a very large corporation, and they call on me. They go through a title, or not title, but they go through a service, obviously like SnapDocs. And they call on me probably 3 times a month, and I get paid very well for 5 or 10 minutes worth of work. However, some of the documents that they have, because this is an international company, for instance, I've had documents that are in Hebrew. I've had them in, whatever language, which is really kind of cool because, Hebrew is upside down, right? So it's kind of cool to look at the document and go, oh. And then they usually always have the instructions for the attorney to sign, and then they have the English version of it. Now, this is the attorney that's signing the document, and then I'm only acknowledging her signature. So for the fact that I can't understand Hebrew, that should be irrelevant. Is that correct for me, as long as I'm just acknowledging the signature?
Yeah, we're going to look at California specific, Matt.
Right.
Yeah, you don't have to read the document. It might have the English version there for you, but all your job is to verify identity. And one caveat, though, is your certificate must always be in English.
Right,
so it has to be state-specified language.
Correct.
But the document content itself, no.
Okay.
No, you don't have to be able to read it.
Okay.
But you do have to be able to have a conversation directly with your signer.
Right. No, she's English. She's American. Yeah, that's okay. Good.
Okay.
Thank you,
Very
Matt.
good.
And then one last thing, Matt,
You're
on
welcome.
the California thing is a lot of times she has to have her passport or driver's license. We have to make a copy of it, and then I do the acknowledgement because it's going to other countries again because she's signing these documents. And the last time the other attorney, they work through a compliance company that are attorneys. And so the last time she had her write certified true copy or true copy. And then she signed it, and then I acknowledged it. Is that correct on that aspect? I don't have to attach this is a true certified copy, because from what I understand in California, we can only do POAs. Is that correct? Am I not understanding that
Correct. A notary can only certify a true and correct copy of a power of attorney in the state of California. However, anybody, any document custodian or owner of the document, like driver's license, passports, I do this all the time for apostille work.
Okay.
They can write whatever statement they want and then sign to that statement, and you acknowledge their signature. And I get these and send them up to the state to be apostilled all the time, and I've never had any questions or rejections.
Okay, good. Thank you. Yeah, a lot of these are going to be apostilled later on for their source of whatever it is, how they do it. But I just want to confirm that I was legally doing what I was correct. Thank you, everybody. I hope everybody has a wonderful day.
One last tip is
Yes.
make sure your signature is what they have on file, because when it goes to be apostilled, that's one of the main reasons it gets rejected.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I have a very unique
All right.
signature. Thanks.
All right,
Very
awesome.
good.
Thank you. Great questions, Cammie. Thank you, Matt. So I just got notice from Carrie Marvel as well that it is the absolute last minute to get your tickets to Notary Symposium that's being held this Saturday. Almost said September, November 6th. It's an all-day online event, and they're closing it in 30 minutes. So if you want to get your tickets, I'm going to post the link in the chat, notarysymposium.com. There's not very many left anyway, guys, but if you'd like to join us, it's going to be packed full of value with strategies, presenters, plus a prize wheel that I get to sponsor and give away over $2,500 in really cool prizes. All right, Gloria Holt, always a pleasure to see you on. You want to unmute, tell everybody what state you're in and how we can help. You're still muted though, Gloria. You're still muted.
Still muted.
Oh, now you can
There you
hear me.
go.
Okay, I'm Southern California, and thanks, Bill. I have a couple of quick questions. The first one occurred this morning. I don't know if anybody ever had this situation where the signing company had a request in there that I take a photograph of the signers as they were signing. I've never heard of such a thing. I just asked for permission and went ahead and did it. Can I get some feedback on that?
Judy, have you ever had that happen?
I have not.
I've never had it either. Yeah.
No, I have not. I guess if they gave permission,
Yeah.
then it's okay. As long as you got their permission, I guess it's okay. I've never heard of that.
Matt,
And this
you're
is
in
a Wells
California.
Fargo. I mean,
Matt, you're in
I've only
California.
ever
Have you heard
had
this?
I've only ever had to do this one time when it was more of an inspection job. It wasn't like a loan closing. They wanted to know the person was real that was getting the loan. And I did take the pictures, but I printed them out and sent them back. I did not transmit them electronically. And then I immediately deleted them from all my systems. So that would be my advice. Don't transmit them electronically, print them out and send them tangibly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Interesting.
Now, my second question has to do with that. I'm working on my website right now, one of Tyler's templates. And my question has to do with the physical location. I got an address type PO box, okay? And I guess that isn't really good to use. I don't know if you have any recommendations. The shared office expenses are so high. I think it's $300 or $400 a month, which is kind of prohibitive for me.
Sure.
So any ideas or thoughts on that?
Yeah, definitely. So what we're talking about here is search engine optimization and using probably your Google My Business in conjunction with your website. Is that right, Gloria?
Right, correct.
Okay. So you're right. Google My Business does not like it if you use a PO box or even an address that isn't yours. And for most of us, we're working out of our home. But so the recommendation is that you put your home address. Now, here's the cool thing about that, though, is if you check the right box on your Google My Business, it will not show your home address. So it'll have a general radius of where you're at, and you just check the box that says, I do not transact business at this address. And then it won't show that to your potential customers.
Right.
So they can't come knocking on your door. But it's actually really important. It's a really important feature of Google My Business for all of those you want your addresses or your NAP, your name, address, phone number to match across all of your profiles and everything. So that is an important qualifier, yes.
But now the website itself, I didn't want to put it on there.
Sure.
Just left, like city and state. And because I've had a problem where some people have called and they say, well, I can meet you right there at the address because it's a physical PO box. And I just explained that I'm strictly a mobile notary.
Yeah, so on your website where you're typing that stuff, I would not include that at all on your website.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
The map that gets attached to your website is your Google My Business map. So
Right.
that's going to be the same one. So it's not going to have a bearing on it. So don't put your address. If you don't want people showing up, don't put your address on your website.
Okay, okay, yeah.
But you also, saying that, you want something that indicates your general area, right? If it's not in the name of your business, if it's not in the name of your city, let people know kind of what area you're in. Right on your homepage. So it's really crystal clear whether or not you can help them.
I just put city and state on there so that centralizes it enough,
Perfect. Yeah. That'll work.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate your help.
You're so welcome. Thanks, Gloria. All right, Kristen, great to see you. I know you're in California as well. Thanks for being here. You want to unmute? And how can we help today?
I thought you said Christine. Are you talking to me?
I am Kristen. Sorry.
Oh.
It's my list.
No worries.
Just not
I'm
working.
sorry. I forgot. I'm sorry. Yes, California, San Diego. Dan Brewer, thanks for the feedback. Appreciate it on the website. What I wanted to ask about was kind of a silly question. So I do check my documents before I leave twice. Usually I check it right after they sign, and then I go through the end. I sign it again, or I review it again rather. Then the third time should be in the car, but I've tried that and it is impossible. Like I'm trying to do it on the steering wheel or on the seat. I'm kind of sideways and crunched up, and it's really awkward, and I'm destroying papers. So I wait till I get home. Well, last night I got home and I was too tired, woke up this morning and found an error. So I had to drive all around the city to because the husband went to work and it was just like a nightmare. So anyways, I wanted to know what you guys do when you get in your car, because it's awkward.
Yeah, so it's a great question. And I highly recommend that 3 times, even a 4-time check, that's my standard policy. And even today, I check them 4 times before I drop them, because I'm even more especially aware that I don't want to drive around town fixing errors like this. So I'm glad you're learning this. Sometimes it takes the hard way to do it. Now, what I did, because I would literally spread it out, especially when I had my Lincoln Town Car, I would spread out a little bit on that and just go through and just double check, almost create a tabletop in there. And I have been known also to sit in the back seat to do it. Sometimes there's just a little bit more room back there. Matt, I know you're on the road, you're still doing this mobile. What suggestions do you have for checking documents?
So like Kristen, I check them as they're signing them, and then I check them at the end of the appointment, and then I do check them in the car. And I don't have it with me right now to show you, it's in the trunk, but I have one of those steering wheel desks that hooks onto your steering wheel that creates a nice flat surface. And that way you can turn the pages without them getting all crinkled up. That costs about $12 on Amazon. Look for the steering wheel desk. It's a lifesaver.
That is amazing. I didn't even know they had those.
Shut the front door.
Exactly. Judy, what policies do you have for checking documents?
I check them and check them. I check them. I always say to the people, I'm going to take 3 minutes of time right now, and I'm going to do some housekeeping, and I check them. I check them when I'm back in the car. That will usually be it for me, unless it's been an extremely difficult signing and there were problems, and then sometimes I will check them one more time. You can, if you go to a FedEx, there are always tables in there, and you can just stand at the table and turn your pages one more time. That's kind of where I go. And somebody said in the chat, a Starbucks or a Dunkin' Donuts, and that's a fact. There are tables in there. You can go in, you can sit down. You might have to order a cup of coffee, but that's okay. And just turn your pages. So those are the things that I do. And I do that when they come in here, I do the same thing. I check it and I check it and I check it so that, we don't get that dreaded call. You missed it.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, I caught it myself, but I mean, I'm a nighttime notary, so I probably won't end up at Starbucks or FedEx. So I have to do it in my car. So I'll probably look into that steering wheel thing. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, that's a really great suggestion. And
Yeah.
Denny's too, they're 24 hours a day. I can't tell you how many appointments I've taken in Denny's and used it to check documents as well. They're usually super cool that way. The other thing I just wanted to point out too, I don't know how many people know about Judy's business model, but Judy has Center City Notary in downtown Philadelphia. She's got a physical location. So if you have any questions about physical location, like whether or not that makes sense for you, what are the pros and cons, that would be a great question for her, either in the chat or raise your hand and we'll bring you up here as well. Thank you so much, Kristen. That's a great point. And I learned something new. I love nerdy stuff. And that steering wheel desk, I think, is going to happen.
Awesome. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Kristen. Pat McGee, so glad you're here. You want to unmute, tell everybody what state you're in and how we can help.
Hi, I'm from Southern California, like everybody else today.
I guess so, huh?
So I had a couple of different questions and they're not related. So the first one was for you, and that was about using the database. So you've said that you have a signing and you basically, if you have a good rapport, you can get their email and put it into your database and start sending them the monthly, using the app. And I do that, but my list is growing slowly, and this is the reason why. A lot of times I will go for escrow. I'll go to a client that's way out of my local area. And so I just think, like, even though they were good people and they would give me their email address, if they needed a notary, I don't think I could give them a price that would make sense for both of us because they are so far away. But it's different when you get a couple $100 to go that far. But if they needed just a deed or something, or one document, it wouldn't make sense. So I wanted you to speak on that. And the other one is completely unrelated, but
Let's hold off on that, Pat. Hold on,
okay.
Pat. One question at a time. This is a really great question.
Yeah.
So, and I love that you're taking this on because this is the future of your business, guys. It's being able to, number one, build a relationship with your signers or your clients where they want you to stay in touch with them. And so you can bring value to the relationship. And part of bringing value to the relationship, Pat, isn't just what you can do for them when they need you, right? It might be, it's being a resource to everybody who's on your contact list. So even though you might not be the ideal notary for them, if you cultivate a network and you have other notaries in that area that would be, you're still the resource. You're still the person they're going to remember. And they might say, gosh, Pat is really good at staying in touch. She's always sending me these emails. Maybe she knows an attorney. Maybe she knows a good plumber. Maybe she knows where the best breakfast burrito in town is. Whatever it is, you're staying top of mind. So there's something bigger happening. It doesn't always have to be that direct transaction, like, oh, I need a notarization, I'll call Pat, but she's going to charge me $400 to come out here. It might just be like, hey, I've got a notary in your area. I'm going to connect you because I know they do really good work, and I'm going to put you in touch with them. And then
I love
you
that.
are still the resource there.
I love that. Yeah.
Awesome. What was your second question?
My HP printer needs a part, and it's going to cost with labor like $260. I was thinking about getting another one, but I have not been able to find dual tray printers. It's like they are unicorns now. And wondering, is anybody else experiencing that? Does anybody know a place? Because before I spend $250, I'd spend $400 to just get a new one. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. And we already got some suggestions coming into the chat right now. But I'm going to ask my two co-hosts here, because this has been a problem since the pandemic hit, finding printers. And I know, and then we've got logistical problems and all of that stuff that's contributing to this. Judy, do you run into this struggle at all? Do you have any resources that you can share for people?
I have, and I find that the printers are are not lasting very long. I find that they're made cheaply. And I've only bought HP for the last 10 years. But somebody was on my Clubhouse room, and I will get that information and I will get it to Bill. Leasing is probably a better option now than buying. If you lease, you get a certain, they come fix it. If there's something wrong with it, they fix it, or they take it back and they bring you another one. There were all, Matt, do you remember the name of the company that I think it was Jen Cooper told us about?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's the same one, but the one that's really popular in Northern California is Ricoh, Ricoh.
Okay.
And they're fantastic. All you gotta do is buy the paper. They even supply the toner. And if I had to do it all over again, I would do exactly that. I would lease my equipment.
Me too. And the next time, that's exactly what I'm going to do, because you don't have the headaches. And like I said, maybe it's my imagination. They used to last a long time. Now I find that they make them to break them.
Yeah. Yeah, I love this this idea of leasing. I met Kim over in Maui one year, and she was telling it cost, I think it was $120 a month or something, but it included a certain amount of paper, the ink cartridges. I mean, she was coming out on top on that deal.
Mhm.
So it could be a really good option. Ricoh is the name of that company. I think that even Kim used, so I posted it, just the name in there.
I
Track
will
that
also
down.
find out the other name and I will get it to you, Bill, and you can post it.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you so much. All right, Pat, great questions. Do you feel like you got your questions answered?
Absolutely. And I see some good stuff in the chat. Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you, Pat. All right, Melissa Dominguez, also in Southern California. It's the Southern California show today, guys. Melissa, welcome. How's it going? How can we help? Don't forget you're on mute.
I got a few offers, but they're say tiered pricing, and I didn't know how that applied to the loan signing order. Tiered
Okay.
pricing.
So is it coming through a platform like SnapDocs or Signing
Yeah.
Order? And it says tiered pricing. Great.
Yeah,
I've never heard of this. Matt, do you have any experience in tiered pricing?
I've seen it before and I just say no. I think it's more
Makes me
like,
nervous.
I think it's a lot like what Notary Go is doing, this weekly pay thing. But that just doesn't fit my budget. So I'm not their notary.
oh, okay. Because they did say it was 75, and of course I countered, but I was thinking maybe they want you to do so many for them and then they'll give you more. I don't know. I was trying to look up tiered pricing, but okay, I'll just say no.
I know
you.
that they take you get paid a little bit less if you want your money faster. So
Oh,
that doesn't always work.
all right. Okay, thank
Matt,
you.
am I understanding that correctly? Is that how that tiered pricing works? You get weekly pay, but we're only going to pay you $70 per appointment than 75.
Yeah, I've seen it as low as $40. So you gotta really watch that and take into account what it's costing you and what your time's worth.
Perfect. Great. Thanks for bringing that to us, Melissa. James Wade, finally somebody in the Midwest or closer to the East. How's it going, James?
Good. I'm in Wisconsin, so I'm not in Southern California. I wish I was in Southern California, but I'm in Wisconsin right now. How are you?
So good. What can we do for you today?
I got a question. I think it's maybe it's kind of basic, but it's kind of on that poaching question again. So if I'm doing a bunch of signings through SnapDocs, there's a list of companies that I worked for that I can click on, and I see like 13 companies, signing services that I have worked for. I thought it might be a good idea to start out with those 13 to get on their lists and sign up with them. Just want to make sure that's not poaching, right?
So right, it is. it's not poaching at all. You already have a relationship. Remember, SnapDocs is not a company that you're in competition with. It's a platform that those signing companies that hired you use to distribute. So if I was going to categorize or prioritize use of my time, I probably would not start with companies that are already on that list, that I already have a foot in the door with. Like you're already on their radar. I'd stay in touch with them, but I would start with companies that you haven't been introduced to yet. Like if I was going to start expanding my horizons, I would start with some 4 or 5-star companies outside of who I already have worked for.
Okay.
Does
I'm
that
just,
make sense?
yeah, I mean, I definitely want to do that. I want to, go with 4 or 5-star companies, but I don't think I have the money yet to get on that particular list yet. So I thought that's why I would start with the 13 that I've already have a relationship with. And then when I get a little more money, then I get to that particular list with the higher quality.
I think I see where you're going. And still, I would use the resources because you already have, James, they've already hired you. So
Yeah.
you put them on the tickle list, stay in touch. Hey, you got anything? I'm here. But you want to get more business. And when you have 13 companies, like if I was going to spend an hour a day cultivating relationships, it probably would not be with those companies that my foot's in the door. I know I'm going to get something if it comes through. I'm going to start expanding that territory, right? If my goal is to get to 100 companies, then I want some fresh meat, right? So there are free resources with these signing companies too. Even though it's kind of an antiquated list, you've got that Notary Rotary list. Every one of these Facebook groups that have notaries in it, we've got such a generous network here. They share that information. They in the file section of some of these groups, it'll say, hey, here's just an ongoing list of hiring companies that we love to work with. And then as you start getting volume and you can spare if you're part of Sign and Thrive, if you've graduated in Notary to Pro, the Carry Reviews, the group we're talking about, the notaryreviews.org, access to that list is way under $100. So it might be a little closer than you realize on that too, because that's one appointment. Where you can have access to those lists, and then they're star rated and reviewed, and you've got some contact information there for you too.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I see where you're going with it. I just don't think I'm in the door with these 13 companies. I think they put it out on SnapDocs, and for like maybe 100 other notaries also get the same in the area, also get the same message. So I don't know that. I mean, I see what you're saying. I'll definitely go the route you're saying because I definitely trust you, but I'm just not sure I'm in the door as much as you were mentioning. But
yeah, so you're trying to get to their preferred status. You want to be a preferred notary for that group, and that's great. It's just a separate endeavor.
Okay.
Does that make sense? And then you do not have to worry about poaching. Poaching is a separate challenge.
Okay. It's a lower priority from what you're saying from the other directions I could go.
Well, it depends on the relationship, because you don't need 100 relationships. If you had 4 or 5 really good ones,
yeah,
you'd be making 6 figures on this. But if you already have a relationship with those 13 and you're not having the volume, or you're not seeing the orders from those companies even come across, then it's a little bit of a numbers game. You keep adding them on until you find the 4 or 5 companies that love working for you, you love working with them, and they have the volume to support you.
Okay. I see it. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, you got it. Thanks for being here.
Sure.
Matt, I'd love to hear your perspective on building these relationships with companies too. Do you have a second?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I was thinking of a few things as you guys were discussing it, and I think I agree with you 100%. The ones you already have a relationship with, you might cultivate it, send them a card, stay on their radar. But I would spend my, hard-earned time trying to reach out with companies that I haven't yet worked with, that may be on my, target list. Like maybe you want to work with Amrock, maybe you want to establish a relationship with BankServe or whoever it is. That's where I'd really spend the midnight oil, if you will.
Great. Awesome. Great questions, guys. I love it. We got about 10 minutes left, so we're going to move to Carrie Bowen. Carrie, thank you for being here. You want to unmute and tell everybody what state you're in and how we can help? Carrie Bowen, you're on mute if you're talking. All right, Carrie, I'm going to move on to Michelle's. Oh, there she is.
Sorry about that. This is only my first time, and I've only been doing this since May. And I started out real slow, and now I'm going gangbusters. It's a part-time gig for me. And I'm in New Mexico, but I have a ton of questions, so I'll try to focus on the most important.
Awesome.
My first signing, I have not gotten paid for. I've contacted both I contacted first the platform, and they said, that's not our problem, it's yours. So then I contacted the underlying companies and actually looked at them Googled them, and they say they never pay, blah, blah, blah. What do I do? I just chalk it up to experience and not the phone number. The voicemails are full. They don't return emails, blah, blah,
it
blah.
It won't even matter, right? It's pretty clear they're not going to pay you, especially when you can see the other reviews.
Yeah.
So I'll give you a couple suggestions, and then I'd love to hear how Matt and Judy do this as well. So for me, it's all about energy and how much of a drain this is on me if I'm obsessing about it and thinking about it. If it's, just even if it was $150, but usually if it's coming through a platform, it's probably significantly less than that. Is that right, Carrie?
Yes, only 75.
$75. So that is, I don't give $75. I don't give stressing about $75 a whole lot of real estate in my brain. So I will probably have written that off quite a bit, just so I don't have to worry about it. Now, if it was more, or if I really wanted to make a point about the principle of things, and there have been times when I've been owed, a couple thousand from a title company, and I feel like they're putting me off. Then I'm not going to just let that go, right? So I am going to contact the signing company. Sometimes I'll contact the closing agent I always give people the benefit of the doubt. Hey, I think something may have slipped through the cracks. Do you show that I have been paid for this signing or something along those lines that just shows professionalism and friendliness? If I don't get a response, which in this case you probably would not, then I might escalate it. And I might escalate it to a business development manager, or even the most effective has been to the president of the company. That got me paid within 24 hours. And then still, if that doesn't work, then that's where I use my Legal Shield. If you don't have Legal Shield, guys, Legal Shield offers business protection and legal protection for people, just everyday people like you and I in business. It has saved my rear end so many times, but they will draft a payment demand letter, and that is an extremely effective tool to get you paid. Would I do it for $75? Probably not. I'd probably just write that off, chalk it up to experience, and no, I'm never going to use that company again.
Okay.
Matt.
Thank you.
Judy. What happens when you don't get paid?
I like to get paid. I probably for $75, I probably would eat it and just say, I'll never use that company again. But I also am a Legal Shield representative. And Legal Shield is really good for collections. They will draft the letter and they will help you. And I think that that's one of the things that they could benefit you the most out of having. So if you need to know and you want some information, you could contact Bill, you could contact Matt, you could contact me. Laura, we're all involved in Legal Shield and we'll all be able to help you. I also, you can go the other route and you can send a certified letter or a FedEx, and you can say, look, I really don't want to take legal action against you, but I like to get paid. And sometimes if they see, now it'll probably cost you they only owe you 75, it'll probably cost you 25
Right.
out of the 75. So now we're down 50. Plus, like Bill said, it does take up some real estate in your head, but sometimes it's the principle of the thing. And you drove extra, or you got up extra early and it was 7 o'clock in the morning, and you just want to get paid. So those are a few things that you can do. If you do not have prepaid legal or legal shield, try being your own representative and take a piece of paper and write it down, and FedEx it or UPS it, or go to the post office and use USPS. And sometimes when they get that, then they think, you know what, this person's not going to quit. Let me just send them.
Well, it's a problem when you've already deleted the documents. You don't know who the title company was, because I had one that I thought was the one I hadn't gotten paid on. And so luckily I still had the documents in that one, and called the title company, and they were all over it. But in this case, I've already deleted all my documents. So I've asked, I think it's signing orders, or I don't know which one it is, asked them for the name of the title company, but I haven't been very successful in getting a response yet. So the other question, can I ask one more?
Yes, yeah.
Does anybody buy off-brand ink? And if so, have you had any success?
So this is like one of those 50-50, we'll have a dispute. I've seen arguments in Facebook get really crazy over this. But so for the most part, I recommend not. But for every single person that says no to that, there's always somebody who says, I use generic all the time and it works great. I think there's this other variables that come into play. So for the most part, I do not. I know there's probably 51% here that say just buy the name brand, and there's probably 49% that say they have good luck with the generic ink.
Okay, thanks. I have a bunch more questions, but I'll let somebody else take a turn.
Yeah, Carrie,
next week.
and hit us up too. I'll at the end of this call, before we actually end the call, I'm going to show you how to get a hold of Matt, how to get a hold of Judy, how to get a hold of me and Laura. So if you have some questions in the meantime, we can certainly get to those. All right,
Perfect.
Michelle, thank you, Carrie. Thanks for being here and welcome.
Thank you.
All right, Michelle's iPhone, thank you for being here. Would you like to unmute? Tell everybody what state you're in and how we can help.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for taking my questions. Michelle from New Jersey. I have two questions. Now that New Jersey is doing RON, I tried calling the state to see what platform I can use, but I keep getting recording that due to COVID volume to keep calling back. Is there any recommendation of what platform we can use in New Jersey for the remote online notarization?
Great question. And this is a relatively new statute. Judy, this is your neighboring state. Did you happen to have some info on this?
Well, I know that probably there are lots of platforms, but I would contact Amy Seitz at Cyberize It. I know that she spent a whole day last week training a group of New Jersey notaries. And I will post her phone number in the chat, or Bill, I'll give it to you, and see what she thinks, see when she's doing another training. She took Laura's course last week to make sure that she had all the New Jersey statutes and everything else right up to date. And that's probably where I would go first. And also, this is a good time to plug. I just started a group. It's called the Tri-State Notary Group. And it is for notaries in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Delaware. And we're going to have our second meeting on November 21st. And we're going to try to give tri-state notaries a voice in the tri-state area. So if you're interested and would like information, Bill's going to put my contact information up, and we'd love to have you.
I love that.
Thank you.
Michelle, one thing that I always recommend when it comes to the remote online notarization is to check with your state statutes first. That should be, no matter what we're talking about, your notary statutes in your handbook is going to be your starting point. From there, we know that can be cloudy and vague sometimes, but with your new legislation for Ron, it might tell you, okay, these are the approved platforms. But more than likely, it's going to say, as long as these guidelines are met for the platform, like these security protocols are in place, just register which platform you're going to use. So for that, I recommend you check out ronuniversity.com. That's John Holder's program, but he has all of the major platforms online. They're giving demonstrations about their product, what the support looks like. And from there, once you know kind of what New Jersey is expecting of you, you can visit ronuniversity.com and figure out exactly what platform you think is going to work for you, because that's going to be really complicated. The other thing I just want to end on this is Ron's not necessarily for everyone. So just because it's legal doesn't mean that it's going to fit into your business plan. And I highly encourage you all, if you want to do Ron, that's great. There's going to be room for that. There's going to be ways to generate business. But Ron is not for everyone. It's not going to fit into the vision you have for your business. So make sure, spend some time before you spend your money on figuring out whether or not you want to do Ron. All right.
Great. Thank you. One more, Bill, and then I'll let you go. I know. Okay, I'll wait till next Tuesday.
Yeah, we'll
That's
have to
all
do
right.
that, or shoot me a text message because we're already a minute behind. I want to give Judy and Matt an outro so they can tell you how to reach them. Matt, you're in your car. Let's start with you. Matt, how can people get a hold of you?
Great, thanks, Bill. You can reach out to me at Matt, M-A-T-T, at mmmobilenotary.net, or you can go to the California League of Independent Notaries website at calnotaries.org. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much. Judy, you want to tell everybody where they can find you?
You can find me at Judy with an I, Judi, at Lawrence Institute for Notaries.com. I appreciate being here today. As always, a lot to learn, and have a great rest of your day, everybody.
All right, that was awesome. Thank you so much. Matt, Judy, thank you, or Judy and Matt, Jam, thank you so much for last minute joining me as co-host of Tuesday Notary Titans. I truly appreciate it. This was awesome. Loved hanging out with you. And I'm so proud of you both. Excited for you on this new book because it is so packed with value. And again, guys, if you want to get on the list and be the first to know when that thing goes live on Sunday, just join at notarycoach.com/jam. That's jam, J-A-M, for Judy and Matt. And we'll keep you posted on when that book launches. All right, guys, thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye, everyone.